Hello. Today I would like to go over with you proper ergonomics working from home. These basic rules of ergonomics will apply anywhere, but we're all stuck at home right now, and I would like to show you how you can use working from home to your advantage, where you have a little more control over your environment than you do in the workspace. The main thing to keep in mind with ergonomics is that generally our hands like to be in our laps. That's what's a comfortable place for them to be working. When you start having to lift your arms up like this, the shoulders will start to come up to take the pressure off of the wrist so that the fingers can move freely. Our normal idea of desk height comes from back in the day when we used to write and we wanted to be able to rest our elbow, forearm, and hand on the desk. Nowadays, everybody is probably sitting at a desk that is way too high. So the number one thing you will need is either an adjustable chair or some way to make your chair higher or lower. Books, pillows, yoga blocks, all of these things are great. So now if I belly up to this desk and I put my hands here, you see there's an upward slope to my elbow and then a little crook in my wrist. That's either going to give me wrist pain or make me lift my elbows up into my ears, giving me shoulder pain. So first thing I'm gonna do is lift that up so I'm nice and high above the keyboard. So there's a nice gentle slope from my arms down to my fingers. They can move freely, my shoulders can relax, and my elbows can move. The best possible seat is one without arms, because arms just give you something to scrunch into, whereas you want to have freedom of movement of the elbows and no temptation to lean in. It can be nice to have a chair with a nice back to it, but if you do have a chair with arms, try to switch it out, or if you can, remove the arms. If not, just try to be aware that you're not leaning into that arm throughout the day. Now that I've lifted my seat up to a nice height, what I want to check is where my legs and feet are. Right now you can see I have a downward slope from the hip crease right here to the top of my knee. If that's a big slope when I put my feet flat on the ground, that's going to end up pulling my lower back forward. So if you're someone short and your feet are dangling, if we come up even higher here, and your feet are dangling down here to get up higher, probably what you're going to do is tuck them under your chair and then see how that's going to pull your lower back forward. And that's going to give you a lot of lower back pain by the end of the day. So since we can't raise the floor, you can either find a shorter desk or a shorter workspace around the house, or you can put something under your feet. Yoga blocks are great for this, but again, books, stacks of printer paper, whatever works. I'm gonna lower my seat back down again so I'm at that nice position. You can also order little footrests online that have an angle to them, so they're real easy to put your feet up on. You can see here I've made myself a little makeshift workspace by taking a table and just adding this extra thing so that I can get my knees under it. If I were to work without this, I wouldn't be able to get close enough. I'd be hunched over. So you always want to make sure your knees can fully slide under. Now though, we notice that my face, when I look straight ahead, I'm staring at the wall, not the computer. So if I want to look at the computer, I'm going to have to tilt my head or end up slouching down throughout the day, right? So then we end up here. Oh, because now we can see everything really clearly, because all those pixels are made to work at their best when you're seeing them at a 90-degree angle. Voila. The magic of going beyond 90 degrees. Suddenly, I have a nice clear view to the screen, and now I can work away all day and be happy. The other thing that I want to go through of the fundamentals of ergonomics is how to sit up straight. And the reason I'm grabbing my hips is because it all starts here. Normally, you're working away and you end up in your little hunchy position and you go, oh my goodness, sit up straight. what I've just done now, look at my back. Does my back look straight? No, my back looks very tilted this way, and then it has to go the other way to come back out. That is not a straight back. Not only that, our backs really aren't supposed to be straight, right? They have a little bit of a curve. So when you really want to gauge if you're sitting up straight, what you want to think about is the front of your body. Does the front of your body feel straight? And that means bringing these ribs in a little bit, connecting them, feeling a little bit of engagement in the lower abs. But number one, when you're sitting like this and you want to sit up straight, just roll your hips forward, because that's our foundation. Now, I don't mean roll them all the way forward so that you're arched through your lower back. I just mean give them a nice check and see that you're right over your sits bones. Those are the pointy bones on the bottom of your butt. If you're nice and comfy here, all you have to do then is relax your shoulders. They might still feel a little rounded forward, but that's just going to be a function of how much tightness you have in the front of your chest. Really, if your shoulders are nice and relaxed, that's good posture. Tilting your rib cage back to give the impression that your shoulders come back is just going to cause a lot of pain and tension, and within a few minutes you're going to start to slump again and say, why does my back hurt so much? I don't have the strength to sit up straight. Just rolling the hips forward, feeling that nice relaxed space, feeling your feet flat on the floor or flat on your thing that you've propped them up with. I think I need 2 yoga blocks to really be good. So to recap, the most important thing with our posture is that we be able to move our elbows freely, that our arms be at a slight downward angle to the wrists, that our knees be in line or only slightly bit lower than the hips, and that we bring the hips to a nice neutral position, sit bones facing down into the seat, and that our screen is at a place where we can have that nice 90-degree angle. The nice thing about working from home is there's so many different ways and spaces to achieve those things. Now I'm going to get into a little bit more creative ways to work around the house. You might not have enough space to have 3 people with their own desks if everyone is working from home and you have a large household. Another option that's not that difficult to create around the house is a standing desk. Again, you want to have the desk be at a nice height where you get that slight downward slope from elbow to wrist. And if you don't have a counter or something at the right height, find some stuff from around your house, put it on the table, and then put your computer on top of it. You can even have a couple things like this handy, especially if you have a laptop and it's really easy to move around. When your butt gets sore or your back gets tired from sitting, lift your computer up for a little while, and then notice when you're standing that you're not leaning into one hip, slouching, right? You still want to find that nice even space, hips right over the arches of the feet. One thing you can do is lift your toes all up and feel the 4 corners of your feet on the floor, and then put your toes back down. That's just a really quick way to bring your body into a nice alignment. Don't go like this. That's not standing up straight, even if it feels like it to you. There's also some other fun, exciting options that we can do when working from home. Nobody says you have to be upright to be in alignment. Notice now I've tilted my whole body back. What that does is it's allowing gravity to help keep my shoulders open and my body in alignment. Now I would just want to tilt the screen. You could even pull it a little closer. Put the keyboard right in your lap. That's ergonomically right where your body wants it to be. And then you can bring your mouse to the arm of the chair. This works even better if you have a thumb trackball mouse, which I highly recommend having to switch out. The problem with these mice is that your whole shoulder has to move your hand, and that's going to create that mouse knot, I call it, that big horrible knot that we get right behind our shoulder blades there. it's just always, always, always the most important thing is to have options. The body doesn't like to do the same thing all day long. The best way to avoid repetitive stress is don't be repetitive. The other thing is if you have some, big exercise balls, you can switch that out for your chair for a little while during the day. I even have a great setup on my beanbag chair that I love. It's very similar to this. Put it up against the wall, sit in the beanbag, prop a little something under my knees. Nice and comfy, but after a little while, I don't like it so much. Move to another place. You can sit up in bed as long as you're propping the pillows behind you so you're not slumping in. You work from home and you end up at the kitchen table and you end up on the couch and you end up in the bed like this. Just take a few minutes to find a spot where you can really have your chest fall open, your body be in alignment, nice 90-degree angle between the body and the hips, and your head nice and relaxed. Thanks so much. I hope this helps you be happy and healthy and feel fantastic.